everybody, my name is Tanya and today we're going to talk about Black Beauty. So excuse me if my voice sounds a little bit funny. This weekend I was hoping was going to be a really big filming weekend because I've been really slack with putting out videos lately and I have the sorest throat and I can hear that it's affecting my voice, but I thought I'd try and film something and see how it comes out and whether the footage is usable. So Black Beauty was the first book that I read for Read Kids Lit in November. I actually ended up listening to an audio version narrated by Nathaniel Parker. So I never read Black Beauty as a child. I wasn't a very horsey child at all. I was never obsessed with horses like most kids go through a stage. They weren't my thing. Now this turned out to be actually quite a topical read. I started this a couple of days after the Melbourne Cup. So the Melbourne Cup's the annual big horse racing event that happens in Melbourne here in Australia. It has the nickname of the race that stops a nation, in that everybody generally tunes in to at least see the result of this big horse race. But the fact that made this particularly topical is this: I started a couple of days after the Melbourne Cup, and in the aftermath of this year's Melbourne Cup there was the death of two of the horses. So the favourite going into the race things weren't right during the race. The favourite came last and then later died in his stall. Another horse completed the race fine but shied at a waving flag after the race and put his leg through a fence and broke his leg, which of course we all know how that ends for a horse. I'm not here to talk about that and to take sides or make judgments, but there was quite a furor in the aftermath of the Melbourne Cup about cruelty towards animals and cruelty towards horses in particular. And then I read Black Beauty. And of course, this is the story of a particular horse, Black Beauty, and follows his stories through a lot of ups, but also a lot of downs. And this is a book that details quite a lot of cruelty to horses. And the primary feeling I had while reading this, or while listening to this, was it actually made me quite uncomfortable. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I am all for books challenging perceptions and challenging you to think about things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. But coming in the aftermath of the Melbourne Cup and that kind of uncomfortableness of the whole industry, to then read about that, it did affect me, and it did affect my reading of the book. So this book is quite unique in the fact that it's told in first person from a horse's perspective. So Black Beauty is telling you his story, and so Anna Sewell is giving voice to what horses think about how they are treated by humans. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. Because we have Black Beauty reacting to things like bits, and to things like bearing reins, and to being broken and trained, and all the things that humans expect them to do that the horse may not want to. And I'm not making judgments on either side of whether horses should be used for work and for labour or anything that people get horses to do, and any of the equipment they use when doing so, but Anna Sewell obviously did, and she has her opinions and her judgments, and she is giving voice to that through Black Beauty. And I think that's a very important story to read, but it's not necessarily an easy story to read. And so going back to the fact that this is a well-loved children's book, I do wonder whether it is the best book for children who love horses. I just can't imagine how you can read this book and read Black Beauty's thoughts on being contained and then want to have an animal of your own in the same situation. And let's face it, that's what kids who are in love with horses want. They want a horse of their own that's there for them to ride, and I don't quite know how to make that mesh with this book. I'm all for kids reading whatever they want and not to dumb down children's literature. I don't think that we should make everything sunshine and rainbows in children's books, because that's not life and that's not realistic at all. And I am a fully supporter of giving kids the option to read these kind of things and feel these kind of emotions and think these thoughts. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend giving this to a child before they're able to rationalise them, if you're able to have that conversation with them about horses and about animal cruelty. All in all, I really did enjoy reading Black Beauty. It probably was just a little bit more than I was expecting it to be. And as I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. As always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!